tonight on QCTV Sports. It's boys basketball in Section 7 4A. Pete Anderson alongside Joe Ruland for this one. Centennial Cougars making the trip to the west here for a game against Andover. And these two teams both looking to kind of bounce back and midway through the season get into those winning ways.
Yeah, Cougars come in 7-8, and they've lost 7 of their last 8. Meanwhile, the Huskies have dropped their last 6 here. Been looking to get everything squared away. They defeated Centennial earlier this season, 76-71 did Andover. Down by 10 at half, overcame that deficit to put up the win.
You've got the starters right there for the Cougars as they're getting called out here inside the gym. Marshawn Carvin, Max Johnson, Kellen Binder, Jackson Dreesen, and Tristan Hansen round out the starting lineups. The Dreesen and Hansen, the two leading scorers for that Cougars team.
Yeah, Dreesen comes in averaging 23 points a game. There's only one game in which he hasn't scored in double figures. That was against Rogers. He scored 2 points, then was injured, a sore back, and he had to come out early in the game for that. Meanwhile, here's the starting lineup led by head coach Jeremy Habel for Andover.
On the Andover side, you've got some names there. Joseph Mapson, Luke Fenton, Caden Raisler, Colton Miller, Eddie Miles. They're all key contributors, but that's not the usual starting lineup for the Andover Huskies, and they're missing their leading scorer here tonight in Alex Kopetsky, who's you can see him right there in street clothes, just not 100%. He's been one of the players that was ill over the last week, forced the Huskies to actually cancel and reschedule a game that was scheduled for last Friday.
Yeah, we talked about Dreesen having double figures in each of the game, but one. Well, when it comes to AK, Alex Kopetsky, he's averaging 17 points a game, and he has had double figures in each of the games this season. He'll be sorely missed here tonight, and they'll transfer and do a little pivot with the starting lineup as we get going here just moments away. Andover 6-9, averaging 73 points a game, and meanwhile the Cougars, they're averaging 65 points per game offensively.
Leading scorer on the floor for the Huskies is Eddie Miles III. The junior comes in averaging with 12-plus points per game.
But Eddie also adds some swag with that point.
He sure does. Miller wins the tip for the Huskies, and we're underway. Mapson in the backcourt will bring it ahead. He's met right in front by Hansen. He hands off, does Mapson to Fenton. Fenton puts it back onto the floor with the left. Now he picks it up. He's got Raisler out wide on the wing. Shot, and it's good. It's pure. Down for 3 points. Huskies out to an early lead.
Nice looking three squared away. The reason why Centennial's in a man-to-man, there's an unforced turnover there by Centennial. Had a chance to speak, and you and I both with the Centennial head coach. He just, hey, you know what? Andover's just too good of a shooting team to stay in the zone, so we're going to go have a mostly man-to-man.
Centennial going to try a press here in the backcourt. Mapson able to find his release valve in Fenton. Mapson works to the right. Will feign the handoff to Raisler. Backs off for 3. That one's no good. Ball tipped up into the air and out of bounds off of Eddie Miles. It'll be the Cougars basketball.
Yep, well, Raisler with that 3. He has now 17 3-points makes on the season. His high for the season this year for Raisler, Caden, was 22 against Robbinsdale Armstrong.
Carlvin on the ball and gives it off for Dreesen. Dreesen for Hansen. Those two, the top 2 scorers for the Cougars. Back in Dreesen's hand. He puts it on the floor with the right. Stops outside the lane. Hansen will work down into the lane. Spin move. It's stopped by Miller. Fall away shot. That one's good. Good looking shot there for Tristan Hansen over the outstretched arm of Colton Miller.
Beautiful fadeaway, averaging almost 16 a game for the junior, 6'4".
This modified press here. Huskies break it. Mapson finding Fenton again. Now it's Miles working through the lane. Fenton drop step, gives for Miles, lays it up and in. Easy bucket and a great assist there for Lucas Fenton.
I love that cut, love that dime, converts in the first 2 of the night for Miles.
Carlvin on it, works to the left with Raisler in his face. He gives off to Dreesen, getting through traffic. He'll stop, pull up, and make the 3-footer over a couple of Huskies' outstretched arms.
There you look at that scoring depth right now. Those top 2 scorers in Jackson Dreesen, averaging 23 a game, his first 2.
Fenton, he's going to pull the trigger from the left wing. That one's off the back iron, no good. Tip ball up, and we've got a foul call. It's going to go against the Huskies. I think it might have been against Mr. Miles, and it is his first personal.
Yep, he's someone that they need staying clear of some of these fouls. They can use his size, his tenacity inside here tonight, especially with AK out.
Carlin tries to turn the corner on Raisler. Raisler got back. Dreesen will launch the three. That one's no good. Fenton with the rebound and quickly gets ahead for Caden Raisler. Caden picks up his dribble, gives to Mapson on the left side. Miles has to reach to go get that. Raisler goes behind the back but loses the handle. He's tied up, and we're going to have a jump ball. Held ball should go in favor of the Cougars. It is. And that'll go as a turnover for the Huskies.
Cougars, meanwhile, last time out a 65-65 loss to Spring Lake Park. In that game, Hansen with 19. And Tristan Hansen already 2 here tonight.
Carlvin brings it up, goes in front of the Huskies bench, now works inside the arc and gives off for Hansen. Hansen just adjacent to the elbow. Back in Carlvin's hands. Carlvin loses it, gives it up for Hansen outside, top of the key. No good on the three-pointer. Strong bounce right into Colton Miller's hands off that back iron. Mapson will bring it up for the Huskies.
Had a good look, just looked a little flat on the release.
Raisler thought about that quick trigger shot from that same wing spot he already hit from. Miller feigns a shot, puts it on the floor, and he's blocked by Hansen. Here come the Cougars the other way. It's Max Johnson giving off for Carlvin. It's tapped away, but Raisler's going to get called on the foul, and it'll stay with the Cougars.
Huskies last time out, by the way, was an 85-78 loss to Blaine. In that game, Miller had a double-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds. Caden Raisler with 16, Fenton with 14, and Mapson with 11, including 3 three-pointers.
Dreesen a give and go, and finally he gives it back to Kellen Binder, and it's a 6-5 game. Cougars have the lead.
Good dish inside. Focus usually on between Dreesen and also Hansen of who's going to shoot.
Raisler goes baseline, lays it up, and draws the foul, gets that one to fall. Looks like that foul is going to go against Max Johnson, who stepped in late. And Raisler will have an opportunity to make this a three-point play. Huskies up by 1, looking to be 2.
Nice little finger roll along the baseline. Stayed focused with the defender just below him. Gets the end one opportunity. 5 points already for Caden.
Raisler's free throw is good, and Huskies lead by 2. 8-6 here, 14 and change to go in this first half. Carlvin brings it in, gets inside the paint, now dishes off. Dreesen finds Binder. A little good movement here for the Cougars. Getting into the lane is Hansen. And Mapson tried to reach through that pass and make some contact, and will draw his first foul. It's the 3rd foul early on here in this first half for the Huskies.
I mentioned earlier this year, the Huskies picked up a 76-71 win over Centennial. And in that game, it was Miles who picked up 16 points, 7 assists. Stengy with 15 points, and Miller with 14 points of his own and 9 rebounds.
Huskies switch. Fenton in now on Dreesen. Binder was trying to feed Dreesen on that run to the basket. Instead, he'll work his way into near the paint. Pull up no good. Mapson comes down with the rebound, but it's taken away from him. Good job there by Johnson, getting his fingers on it. And Mapson returns the favor. He takes that one away. Fenton now in the front court, will pull back up. No good on that jumper from outside the wing. Cougars slow it down. Johnson gives for Carlvin, who will work to the left side toward the Huskies bench. Now back towards the middle. Gets past Raisler, gives off for Binder. Bounce pass inside for Hansen. It's good. We're tied at 8.
Good ball rotation that time. Bounce pass inside of the post, and then a bounce pass to the cutter, and allowing him to close that time was Hansen.
Huskies able to break that modified press that Centennial's putting on. Raisler gets it on the floor, gets past Carlvin, goes to the cup. Can't make the shot, but does draw the contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Andover, as I mentioned, on the season, 6-9, 73 points per game. But here's You know, a component that they need to overcome is defensively. They're surrendering 76 points a game. They've been outscored by 10 points overall throughout the season, and that's during that second half in which they've been outscored by 10 points as a season. I found that to be interesting. Offensively, they have 151 three-pointers made, but they're without AK, but leading the team in three-pointers made has been Levi Strange.
First bench substitution comes in between those two free throws from Raisler. And now into the game is Jacob Hosfield for the Cougars. Dreesen puts it on the floor, dishes out, gives to Hosfield. Hosfield quickly goes inside for
good slap away.
Kinder, excuse me, and the turn away, a rejection from Eddie Miles. It'll stay with Centennial, but what a defensive play there by Edward Miles III.
Hey, yeah, nasty slap away on that block. First block for Miles here tonight.
Dreesen throws it in. He gets it back from Hosfield, launches the three, no good. Long rebound out, corralled by Miller and quickly given off to Raisler. Caden Raisler on the left wing. He's working on Zach Espinoza also into the game. Ball swings around. Raisler now from his spot. That right wing spot about 3 feet beyond the arc. That time he missed. Only hit backboard. Espinoza gets inside, tried to force that pass through. It found its way inside past Mapson, then to Hansen, back to Hansen, and lays it in. We're tied again at 10.
Selfless passing in the lane. They were fortunate that he get called for 3 seconds with those quick exchanges, but closing it up inside again. You see Hansen.
Mapson wanted to go baseline. Instead, he gives it out to Miller, who launches a three. That's no good. And the rebound pulled down by Hansen. Dreesen finds Hansen as the trailer. He'll launch. That's a three, and the Cougars have their biggest lead of this first half at 13-10.
Boy, Hansen could step into that three. He did. It was pure, nothing but net.
Mapson quickly gives over here on the near side for Fenton, then back for Mapson. Finds Raisler. He puts it on the floor, works through traffic, contorts his way in, and lays it with the left hand.
A nifty slicing and dicing that time by Raisler, and he's got an early 8-point lead and 8 points as a lead for the Huskies right now.
On the board, he has 10. He has 10 of the 12 for the Huskies. That shot off the mark. Rebound to Miller, quickly handed off again to Raisler. Raisler nearly dribbled it off his leg. Instead, he gives it off. Huskies rotate around the arc. Miller puts it on the floor, and it's Hansen that has the sticky fingers, takes it away. Cougars protecting that 1-point lead. Max Johnson works around some traffic, now gives off Dreesen, who's going to work the lane. Lays it up and in. Finger roll off the right hand. Extends the lead back to 3 for Centennial.
It's the yin and the yang, the 1 and 2 scoring punch of all the points that they've scored right now. I figured out the percentage. They have a total of 61% of all the points for Centennial this season.
Raisler gets it, runs out of real estate. Mapson's going to work baseline. And his pass goes off the fingertips of Eddie Miles, out of bounds. And it's another turnover for the Huskies. We've got a couple of subs coming in for Andover. That's Levi Strange and Blaine Raisler, Caden's twin brother. As well as a couple subs for the Cougars, but it's their starters that have already come back in Carlvin and Bender, excuse me. Dreesen puts it on the floor, pulls it up, blocked by Mapson. Mapson was off to the races, wanted to get a quick one. Instead, it's Miller slowing it down and gives off for Fenton as he crosses the timeline. Strange to Miller in the corner. Miller goes baseline, is going to work his way around the rim and lays it off the back glass for a layup and a 2-point basket for Colton.
Miller averaging 9 points a game. Season high this year, 21 versus Blaine just last week.
Carlvin tries the reverse layup. Rebound comes back to him, and it comes out of bounds. It's going to go off of Carlvin, and it's the Huskies' ball. Trailing by point, 9:16 to go here in this first half on QCTV Sports. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's Andover taking on their section opponent, conference opponent, and Centennial. Mapson gets across the line, even though he was being harassed by Carlvin. Raisler gives off for Miller. Quick trigger shot from the right side, no good. Dreesen climbs the ladder to go get that rebound. Espinoza puts it on the floor, runs out of real estate, gives it back outside, back on Binder's hand. One dribble and he picks it up. Finds Hosfield, and it's going to be Espinoza. Hosfield running out of room, can't find their way into that paint. Shot clock down to 10. Espinoza turning, and that's a shooting foul. I believe Fenton was the one that's going to pick it up. It is Fenton, his first foul, the fourth team foul, but it'll be the junior Espinoza at the line for the Cougars, shooting 2.
Espinoza averaging 5 a game. His season high this year was 10 against White Bear Lake. You're currently taking a break is Hansen, and you can see that offensive play goes through and run through Dreesen and Hansen. And when one of the two are out, you can kind of see that the stop of that flow of that offense.
Espinoza makes 1 of 2. The lead is at 2. Mapson has it on his hand. He goes into the lane, goes hard, draws contact. How is that not a foul? Ball comes free, still working on it, has it, and I think it's going to be Huskies' ball as Espinoza was on the end line. Good hustle play there for Joseph Mapson on the floor after drawing a lot of contact, laying that one in and not getting the benefit of a call to go to the line.
Yeah, I thought for sure there'd be a whistle either one way or the other. But Mapson kept after it, some good scrappy and tenacious play, and forced the turnover.
Raisler inbounds, Fenton, quick shot taken, that was no good. Long rebound goes to Dreesen. Dreesen quickly pulls it up the floor, works to the left side. He's gonna pull up on his own shot. That one gets a friendly roll off that front iron, off the glass and in. And Dreesen has his first 3 of the night.
Yeah, members roll.
Pick and roll, it'll be a pop. No, Miller's going to put it on the floor, gives back for Strengy. Strengy's shot off the mark just a little bit right. He's deadly from outside if he gets hot.
Hosfield cleans the board, and now another offensive set for Centennial.
Hansen puts it on the floor, gets down into the low post on the right side. He's being marked by Blaine Raisler. Pop back out for Hansen. That shot is off the mark, touches nothing, out of bounds, and the Huskies will take the ball.
Raisler certainly disrupted that shot.
Love
his
that
focus.
one.
Good effort.
Fenton will bring it up for the Huskies as Mapson has taken a seat on the bench. Double screen given. It gives Strengy an opportunity. He's going to line this one up. This time it's off the mark, a little bit left. Dreesen quickly up the floor for the Huskies. Drop pass, now gets it right back from the top of the key. And it's good. Cougars extend their lead. They're out to 8. It's 22-14 for Centennial.
10 points now already after that 3 for Dreesen, and that was a clean-looking 3.
Fenton gets up in the air, throws it to nobody. Carlvin picks it off. And Blaine Raisler will pick up the foul as he was in all alone trying to defend Carlvin. It'll be on the floor, not a shooting foul. Eddie Miles coming back in. And you see right here, Raisler getting a little bit of body there as he reached around Carlvin.
Looking at this run here, and they started out well, did the Huskies, and of course Cade Raisler picked up the pace scoring.
Hansen gets through traffic, lays it up, but it doesn't fall off their rim that time. Huskies get the rebound. Raisler back inside. He gives to Miles, who's going to work his way around the defensive binder and in, lays it in. He's got 2 baskets to go for 4 so far tonight.
Tristan Hansen a little slow to get up, and the Huskies did a great job at taking advantage as Centennial was 1 man down, and Miles closed it up and took it to the bank.
Hosfield being marked by Strengy. Now it goes inside to Dreesen, who's being watched by Caden Raisler. Now it's a clean look for Hosfield, cutting to the basket with the ball, lays it in. The lead back to 8 for the Cougars. Raisler brings it up for the Huskies. He's met by Johnson outside the arc. Gets around a screen, now pulls it back for Miller, who's going to pop from 3. That one's no good. Tipped away by Miles, but it finds its way back into the hands of Kellen Binder for the rebound. Hosfield trying to get by Miller. Instead, he'll give off for Dreesen. Dreesen works to the right side. Some contact there between Raisler and Binder. Binder with that floater right. Good feed there by Dreesen. I think he got away with a little bit of a walk there as that pivot foot dragged for maybe an inch or 6.
It did. Binder
shot for Stringy goes in on this side, and he finally has got that one measured after his first 2 misses. Dreesen comes the other way, goes coast to coast, lays it up and in beyond Stringy, and the lead comes right back to 9.
They reciprocated in a hurry. Let's see.
Miller from the top of the key. That one's too strong. Back iron, big rebound, comes right to Dreesen. Jackson Dreesen working through contact, lays that one off the back glass, but instead will get the foul call and go to the line for 2.
Good to see Stringy kind of get into the cadence. He's averaging 10 points a game. Huskies in dire need of a 3. I don't think they've had a 3 since it was Caden Raisler that opened up the game.
Hit that one, but other than that, they haven't had one since that opening shot from Caden Raisler.
As they try to fill that offensive gap with Kopetsky out here tonight.
Wayne Johnson getting his first floor minutes for the Huskies tonight. As he steps on, it'll be Dreesen and a timeout called by Spencer Waldvogel and the Cougars. They're going to talk about this one, the inbound coming right underneath the Huskies basket.
Hey, Stringy came out, hit that 3, got that lead, that deficit down to 7, but then it was Centennial that beat Andover back down the floor for the layup. And right now that 1-2 combination for this Centennial squad with 12 and 9 respectively. Tough to cut, and they give just an occasional pass and a dime to feed the other guys on the team for occasional points, and they've been able to cash in.
The only other scorer on the floor right now for the Cougars, or at least before that timeout, was Kellen Binder. He has 4 points. But as you mentioned, Joe, that two-headed offensive attack, they've got 2 guys that really can put the ball on the floor, they can drive, they can shoot, and they've shown each of those skills for each of them thus far here with 5 minutes to go in the first.
Yeah, not just scorers, but facilitators.
Johnson on the inbound for the Cougars. Gets it out to Dreesen, now marked by Mapson. Spins to his right. Can't get all the way into the lane, so he backs it out. Thought about a long shot behind the arc. Mapson shortens the distance quickly. Gives off, finds Binder, goes down into the lane, off the back iron, no good. Binder gets his own rebound, he's stripped, and the Huskies come away with the ball. Miles, the one eventually that corrals it. Pass ahead, finds Fenton, he's immediately met by Espinoza, gives off, finds Layton Johnson, he'll pull up. That one's no good. Tapped out of bounds by Stringy, and it'll be the Cougars' ball.
I was curious to see if Centennial is going to come out with a different defense and a different look since they came out of that timeout, and they see that, hey, Andover's had a little problem struggling. But I don't think they want to go to a zone and allow Andover to get in any side of cadence or flow.
Jackson, step back, makes it. That's a 2. It's just inside the line, right in front of the official, right in front of us. And I believe that was the right call. Mapson brings it up. The lead is 11 for the Cougars, 30-19, as we approach 4 minutes to go here in this first half. Johnson gets it inside for Miles. Miles going to lay it off the back iron, try and roll that one in. It doesn't go, but he does get the whistle and go to the line for 2.
Yeah, Jackson Dreesen makes that look so easy, releasing the shot, high-pointing it. 14 already here in this first half, average 23 a game. And a season high of 35 versus Osseo earlier this season.
Eddie Miles' first free throw is no good. Short off that front rim.
As Hansen had a chance to take a break, comes back in with 9 points and some fresh legs. Just under 4 to play.
Miles makes the second. The lead is cut to 10. And Cougars really quickly bring that ball back up. Dreesen, this time he gets called for the travel, that hesitation move. And then the extra pivot is what drew that call. Fenton inbounds. He finds Mapson deep in his own back cart. Stringy finds Miles along the baseline. He'll work his way into the paint, marked by Espinoza. Espinoza plays good defense. The shot by Miles short of the rim, and the rebound comes out. Fenton with a good defense. The ball stays free, staying on it, and we are going to have a held ball. It'll go to the Huskies. Great hustle play there by Lucas Fenton as he tapped it away and then also saved it as he was flying out of bounds.
Hey, I'm all for good hands, quick hands, athletic feet, and staying active defensively, and that time Fenton did it and created the turnover.
Huskies pass it around. It's stolen. Mapson saves it just before it came across the timeline. He think he would have been okay. Fenton backs his way in, tries to shoulder his way inside the paint. Ball goes out of bounds. Official determines that was last touched by Espinoza, and it'll be the Huskies' ball.
He walked it down against his defender, then coming over to help out was a 6'5" junior, Espinoza.
Under 15 to go on the shot clock. Mapson gives off for Miles at the elbow, goes right to the free throw line, right down the center, and he makes it. Rises up and fires that one. It cuts the lead to 30 to 22, 8-point lead for the Cougars. Johnson never gets stopped and works his way in, gives a mini Euro step, lays it up with the left, and the lead back to 10 for the Cougars. Defensive lapse for the Huskies right there as they gave a free two to Max Johnson, that was his first shot of the night. Miller from inside goes for Miles, back out, works the baseline, now gives it for Lane Johnson, left corner shot, that one's good. He's called up here to take those shots and nail them, and he did right there. It's a big one. The Huskies needed it.
Hey, if Kopeski's out, so the shots have to come somewhere from somebody on the floor. He doesn't look hesitant at all.
Pull-up shot down and back out. Doesn't go for Espinoza. Huskies the other way. Fenton puts it on the floor, nearly loses the handle. Lane Johnson, there he goes, and he hits again. That's 2 in a row. Don't let him get hot, folks. The lead just that quickly, down to 4 for the Cougars. It was 1 stop and 2 threes from Lane Johnson.
Good play that time. Good, strong drive and way to close that time for Centennial. That play by Pullman.
Mapson goes up and lays it in. An and one for Joseph Mapson. He put that one up off the glass from below his waist. He was barely off the ground as he was falling back down after drawing that contact. And an opportunity for the Huskies here to get 2 from the stripe. Cut the lead down to 6.
Hey, Mapson has so much athletic ability. He had a double-double versus Anoka, averaging 7 points a game. But he's also a kid that just wants to get everyone involved. But he can explode athletically. You saw it right there. And it gets him on track. But he's all about taking care of that team.
First free throw, no good. Or excuse me, that was the and one. Can't convert that one to a 3-point play. And they had the scoreboard incorrect, so it was 34-30 is where it's at now. And Hansen lays it in, gets past the outstretched fingers of Colton Miller to extend the lead now to 6. Mapson brings it up. We're under 90 to go here in the first half. Fenton's going to launch the 3, left wing. It's good, pure. That one barely touched anything as it passed through the nylon.
Nice shot, good through. Huskies are back within 3. They were down by 10 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this first half.
Hosfield trying to back down Johnson. Finds a cutting Dreesen who lays it off the back glass. No good. Mapson with speed. Euro step. Lays it up. Too strong off the glass. Rebound comes down as Hansen. It's going to be a jump ball. Miller got his hands around it. It'll stay with Centennial, but that's a big trade-off as we get down towards halftime and getting that possession to start the second half.
36-33. Huskies have hit for 3 threes here in this last few minutes. There you get that layup hard off the glass, left it low. And easy to put a hand on it when it's down around your hip.
Marshawn Carlvin will bring it up. He's matched by Lucas Fenton. Lucas Fenton will work it around. It gets Dreesen from the left wing. And he nails that right in front of the Huskies bench.
Fenton now with 17 in the first half. Excuse me, yes.
Fenton will give up for Mapson at the top. It's Lane Johnson. He's going to put it on the floor with the left, and he loses it. Binder passes ahead. Dreesen goes in too strong. Hant.
They're going to call a foul on Miller.
I think they called a goaltend.
Oh, absolutely, you're right.
And now Havel's finding out that's what they called. I think he was okay with them calling a foul. The basket is good for Dreesen. They're up by 8.
Miller on that flyby apparently got a piece of the ball, or not. Nonetheless, that's the call. Stepped out of bounds.
And as Lane came back to the ball, he was getting pressed right against the sideline and goes out of bounds.
You can see Centennial made an adjustment there of, picking him up higher, as far out as you want, making him work even for those exchanges.
Under 10 to go. Carlvin has it. Miller got his hands on the ball. The ball's still free. Comes to Carlvin. He goes off the back glass and lays it in. Inbound pass, no good. Mapson's shot wouldn't have counted, and that's how we're going to end in this first half. It's a 10-point game. Centennial gets hot in that second half of that first half.
Pete, it was a 3-point game. Andover was down by just 3 with 50 seconds left in that half. They had worked their way back, 3 3-pointers, some good play along the boards, cut the deficit from 10 to 3, but with those last 50 seconds, it's now a 10-point lead, and Centennial was able to capitalize.
We'll come back with second half action. It's the Cougars out to a 10-point lead, 43-33 over the hometown Huskies. Stay with us on QCTV Sports. We'll be back.
The Andover Community Center. A beautifully renovated building is ready for your next adventure.
So yeah, we're coming up on our 20th anniversary here later this summer. For the ice arena, the facility as a whole, including the YMCA, opened, it'll be 20 years next summer. But yeah, early on in the planning process, the city got together with the YMCA and formed a partnership. So not only do we have our gymnasiums and the 2 ice rinks and walking track, multiple community rooms that are all operated by the city, but then the YMCA has all the fitness, the studios, the pools, obviously all those programs that YMCAs do, and I think it's fair to say it's been a very successful partnership here for coming up on 20 years.
From the growing popularity of pickleball to the walking track, the Andover Community Center offers plenty of activities to suit your needs.
Yeah, so just to hear, about 4 years ago, we did a big expansion, added our second sheet of ice, which includes a walking track on the second level, added another gymnasium, multiple community rooms again. But yeah, again, going back to maybe the early folks that designed the building before I was here, you're right, we get a lot of compliments. The black concrete floors, all of the wood beams, all the woodwork through the building. We work really hard as a staff to maintain all these spaces. We took opportunity here this spring actually to do a fair amount of updates. Going on 20 years, it was time to refinish floors and do a lot of painting and that type of stuff. But yeah, it's certainly a beautiful building. You know, we take a lot of pride in the community center here. It's a beautiful facility. I would encourage anybody that's maybe not made it in here to just stop in, visit our information desk. We can take you on a tour, be happy to show you all of the schedules, all the activities, and really just all the opportunities that the community center has, both for residents and non-residents. Also our partnership with the Y, you can stop and visit their desk, talk about Y memberships and all the great programs they run as well. So definitely come and see us. Fun Fest is coming up here in just a few weeks, and that's a great opportunity if you're going to be on the grounds for Andover Fun Fest. Make your way over to the community center. It's a good spot to come cool off a little bit, grab some concessions, whatever you need, and come visit us.
Tonight we're here at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office and we're collecting donations, both supplies and cash, to support an organization called Hope for Youth. It's an organization we've partnered with for many years to help bring an end to housing insecurity for youth here in the Metro.
Hope for Youth is a nonprofit, and we have been around for only 12, 13 years, but we are here committed to ending youth homelessness. We do that by providing pathways that truly end their experience of being on the streets. This is our 9th year that we are working with the community to raise funds and receive donations. It's a chilly night for us. We do it every November because we want the community to be thinking about what would it be like if I was out in the cold.
I would imagine a lot of the folks who are watching QCTV right now are probably doing so on their couch, in their warm living room, or in their stable housing and home. And when we see youth that are struggling, one of the things we see is they don't have a base. And I can't imagine trying to build a life or build a future without having that security of a warm, safe place to live. Kids that don't feel safe, they struggle. And that's why we're here trying to intervene on the front end so that they're not struggling.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This year, we've expanded to 3 locations. We're here at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. We also are taking donations at our Hope for Youth Center right in Anoka, right off of 4th Street. As well as the Blaine Police Department is rallying. They're out in the cold tonight at the Tom Ryan Park. We welcome all. We are here and we want to be a support system to you. We have no judgment. You don't need an appointment to come to our facility in Anoka. We also have a transitional housing facility, Hope Place, by which those that are ready for independent living, we're ready to open those doors for you as well. We used to use a fancy trailer, but now it's official. Oh my gosh, where do you stop? Right? I want to say thank you to the community. We would not be able to do what we do. The lives wouldn't be changed if our community partners, our community friends didn't come beside us. So thank you.
The City of Andover is in the middle of a meter changeout program. We are working mainly right now from the 1987 to meters in houses that were built in 2000. So that's the year built of the house. This is an example of what are in our older homes. It's an old brass-bodied meter. This one's taken apart already. And these older meters, this is what makes how the meter counts. So it has moving parts in it, and as the meter gets older, it'll start making noise. It'll make this ticking noise, which can be very annoying for residents mainly when irrigation's running higher flow amounts. And these older meters have this screen in them, and over many, many years, there's small holes in there. They can start to get plugged up, and you'll start to notice decreased pressure in your home. So that's part of the reason we're changing out too. This is the meter head that counts the flow going through the house. And these old meters, the technology only allowed the meter to count in 1,000 gallons. If you were able to look at this, you would see the single gallons, but when it would actually talk to our radio, this is an example of the new meter we're putting in houses now. And this is the radio that would talk to this meter or an old meter. The difference between the new and the old being this one would talk in 1 gallons, the old meter would talk in 1,000 gallons. May not seem like a big difference, but when we are able to talk in that 1 gallon, we're able to get an alert, say your house is continuing to use 100 gallons an hour, 200 gallons an hour, never goes to zero. That, with our system, it would give us an alert saying, hey, this house on 154th Lane has never stopped using water for the last 24 hours. We would be able to go through our records and try to notify the homeowner by an email or a phone number. If we can't get a hold of anyone and it looks like it's a lot, we would send someone out just to investigate. Say someone's gone on vacation in the winter and the worst happens, a pipe breaks, we would be able to at least try to shut the water off to mitigate any further damage from happening to that house.
So far, they have changed over 1,600 water meters and hope to change out about 3,600 water meters in total. They will continue the process next winter to reach that goal.
The new plastic meters, I don't know if the camera will show it, but it's straight through. There's no moving parts. There's nothing in here to make noise. It's just a chamber that goes straight through with like 2 magnets that are sending a little magnetic field through that stream of water. That's how we're able to, get our reading. So no things to click or make noise or, annoy anyone in the middle of the night when the irrigation turns on. So that's kind of an overview of our meter change-out program and some of the reasons why we're doing that.
If you have questions about your water meter.
And welcome back inside the Andover High School Gymnasium. First half highlights. Right there was Tristan Hansen laying it up and in, and then it was Jackson Dreesen driving the lane for the Cougars. This time it's a pullback. That's a long 2, but he made it regardless. Jackson Dreesen averages 23 on the season. He's already nearly there, 19 in the first half to lead all scorers,
yeah,
Joe.
Those two going to combine for 30 points already on the season. They typically average about 48 a game or 38 a game between the two of them. They're not far from that already, and they've been heating it up well. The key critical point was the Huskies had it down to 3 points with 50 seconds left to go in the half, and some turnovers happened, and it was Centennial who converted those turnovers into points.
Pete Anderson alongside Joe Ruhlin on this one as we are getting ready to bring the second half and conclusion of tonight's conference game section matchup. And we are underway in the second half. Raisler hands it off inside into the backcourt for Mapson, who gets into the paint. Now he's trying to back down Dreesen. Instead, he'll dish it back outside for Fenton. Fenton gives from Miller. Miller gets into the lane right down the midline. Fenton now is going to work his way back to the midline. He goes up, left hand high off the glass. No good. Miller with the rebound. Tries a reverse layup. No good. Ball comes out to Caden Raisler. Miller from the corner is going to go for Miles. That's tapped away. Binder anticipated it, but goes out of bounds. And the Huskies, 8 seconds on the shot clock after the second one was put back up.
Feisty defense for Centennial coming out.
Quickly in for Fenton. 5 on the shot clock. He'll think about it. Gives for a cutting Miller, and then it goes out of bounds. Huskies can't get a shot off.
I had thought he was going to maybe bounce past that one across. That came kind of hard, direct, and through the hands for the cutter. And a turnover for Andover on their first possession to start the second half.
Carlvin brings it up the court for the Cougars. Gives off for Dreesen on the right wing, right in front of his bench and teammates. Hansen now puts it on the floor to the elbow. He's stopped by Miles. That ball's tapped out. It goes right to Hansen, who scoops that one all the way in. One step and into the...
Just like they draw it up in practice. Right off the melon of a teammate, and then cash into 2.
Raisler's able to get it past half court and breaks the press of the Cougars. Fenton thought about a shot on Johnson. Instead, he's going to bring it inside the paint. Gives off for Raisler. Raisler marked by Carlvin. Fenton again on the floor. Floater through traffic. No good. It comes down into Hansen's hands, and the Cougars now with a 12-point lead in the basketball.
Looking to see who can fill that void for Kopetsky here tonight. Taking it to the lane and driving with some of the assist that Kopetsky's able to provide as well. But It was Caden Raisler that initially started. 10 points in the first half for Raisler, but couldn't get back into that zone.
Raisler's the one that picks up that foul on the floor. Quickly, Cougars go inside to Binder. Miles preventing him, then the up and under, and I think that one's going to be a 3-second violation against the Cougars before the shot was taken.
A critical foul for Raisler, for Caden anyway. That was his third foul he picked up early here in the second half, and he goes to the bench.
And just that quickly, Stringy comes off the bench. He launched 3 threes in that first half. The first one missed right, the second one missed left, the third one was right on the money. Fenton holds his foot somehow and doesn't turn it over, finds Mapson to get it across into the front court. Back in his hand, Lucas Fenton, the senior, trying to get past Binder, can't do so. Stringy gives off from Mapson, who's going to shoot. That's no good, but he gets his own rebound, brings it in, and works his way all the way in. Good layup, and the Huskies get the lead down to 10.
He soared his way for the follow-up and followed the shot.
Dreesen goes up and pulls up off
Nice
the back
touch.
glass. It's good. He's got 21. Dangerous pass, but Miller absorbs the contact from Binder, goes to the floor. Foul is called against Kellen Binder. I believe it's his second. It is.
If you closed your eyes and heard the name Binder, that's not what you would envision. Binder, the pretty thick body, about 6'4", 6'5" on top of it. And at that time, it was Miller hit by the Binder.
Fenton gets trapped outside, picks up his dribble. Stringy comes to help him out. He'll work to the left. Miles works it into the lane and loses it off his thigh, but gives it to Stringy, right back into Miles' hands. He'll fall away, and that one's good. Nice looking shot there for Eddie Miles.
I love that. Dirk Levinsky shot there. It was fade away, but he also had the nice one where he stopped and popped from the free throw line in the first half. 9. Now for Miles.
He's got a little bit of stroke, does Eddie Miles. He's not just a banger down low, but he can go pull a rebound down with the best of them. And that one, he gets knocked out of his hands. He's appalled by that one, how it could have gotten out of his grip.
With his mitts.
Johnson will throw it in for the Cougars from underneath the basket on the Huskies' end. Mapson defending Dreesen. Dreesen running out of real estate, gives it up for Binder. Johnson tries to work it out. He finds Dreesen a long 3, no good. Miller with the rebound. And quickly gives it up for Fenton. He goes up the far side right in front of the Huskies bench. Stringy could never control the pass. Carl Vin works it down the floor. A little lob and a layup for Tristan Hansen.
That was a beautiful dime by Carlin. He got the steal, then took it coast to coast and delivered a FedEx package right at rim height. And
Fenton's going to launch a 3 near side. He got a good look and he nailed it. And a quick timeout for the Huskies as they cut the lead down to 9. It's down into single digits now for the first time since we had about 20 seconds left in the first half.
Correct. And we close there. Here's a look at the Northwest Suburban standings. Champlain Park at 7-1. Champlain Park, by the way, has dropped out of the top 10 of the Class 4A rankings. Anoka is second, but Anoka now is number 10 in this Class 4A rankings, followed by Blaine, Maple Grove, Totino Grace, Spring Lake Park, Park Center, Osseo, Rogers, and Robbinsdale Armstrong.
Not listed in there, Centennial and Andover. Centennial coming in with just the one conference win. That one is an early season defeat over Blaine. And the Huskies also have one conference win, that coming against Centennial here earlier in the season. That was a 76-71 victory back on December 17th.
Correct, and let's see what they can do. Again, Huskies were down by 10.5 at that first game, and they were down, and they came back to get the W against Centennial. And down at 10, 43-33, half of this game. So let's see what they can do to leverage and get some smoke and swag going here in the second half.
Huskies need to focus on
13, by the way, in this second half.
Huskies looking to focus on stops here. Carlvin brings it up. Defended by Fenton. It gives off to Hansen. Hansen losing it. And finds a way to give that one off to Binder. Dreesen, top of the key. With a hand in his face, he drains it anyways. And that lead right back up to double digits and 12 points. 24 the mark now for Dreesen. He's eclipsed his game average. Carlvin. I think we're going to have an offensive goaltending there. Carlvin with the steal, tried to lay it in. And Hansen getting that one on top of the cylinder.
A little too anxious and whistled for that. And you're right, hey, the season high for Dreesen this year is 35 points. And had a 16-point performance in a loss to St. Louis Park, their last outing.
Fenton breaks the press himself, gives off for Strengy. His shot is off the mark. Miles gets the rebound. Now it's Fenton on the far side. That one can't go, and Dreesen's able to grab that rebound, brings it up the court for the Cougars, gives off for Carlvin at the top of the key. Works past the screen, gives back for Dreesen. He's got Fenton on him now. Puts it on the floor, gets in and lays it off the back glass. Traveling is the call.
He dragged that rear foot when he tried to set up, but 6'2" for Dreesen and 6'4" for Hansen, or excuse me, 6'5" for Hansen. They both play a few inches taller than what they're listed. Very athletic.
Ball swings around to the near side. Our near side. Miles at the top of the key, marked by Binder. Instead now gives off for Fenton, works through the lane, and rejected away by Tristan Hansen, out of bounds. 17 on the shot clock for the Huskies as they'll inbound off the baseline.
The 6'1" Fenton tried to close it up with that layup, and waiting for that shot was a 6'5" Hansen. And back in now is Caden Raisler, and they need some offensive punch right now.
He's got those 3 fouls to deal with. He inbounds, he finds Mapson, quickly finds it out to Fenton, who launches. No good. Front iron is off the mark. Rebound comes bouncing to Caden Raisler. Now it's on the near side. Miller is doubled. Ball's bouncing around. Raisler settles things down. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. He puts it on the floor, gives near side. This is Stringy launching. No good. Fenton goes up and gets the rebound. Mapson, he'll launch a 3. No good. Strong, too strong. Dreesen pulls down this rebound and quickly is in the front court. He goes right to the basket, attacks Joseph Mapson. Doesn't get the shot to go, but does draw the foul call. And that foul on Mapson will be his second.
That 3-point shot by Mapson was hard off the back of the rim, and that's a catalyst for starting the fast break, and that's exactly what Centennial was able to do. And Dreesen drew the foul, and now at the line, he already has 21 on the night.
That rumble is the
25
youth night attendees, all of our Andover youth traveling players in attendance, making that noise here in the bleachers.
I thought you were going to say it was my stomach, but take a Prilosec and we'll see what happens.
Dreesen's second free throw is good. The lead is up to 14. He has 26. It's been the Jackson Dreesen show here for the Cougars. Tristan Hansen there to help out. He's got 16. Mapson finds Raisler, sets his feet, he launches, that's good! And Raisler has his first point since about 5 minutes into this game in the first half.
Major overdue and needed. 12 for the game for Raisler.
Espinoza thought about pulling up, instead gives back to Dreesen. The ball works its way back around to Hosfield. Now Hansen's going to try and back down Raisler. Miller came in with the help defense, and foul is going to be called against Hansen. He was very close to being able to draw that held ball. That jump ball possession arrow would have been in favor of the Cougars.
We'll see if head coach Spencer Waldvogel, for Centennial in his 4th season, maybe tries to rest either Hansen or Dreesen here in a moment for a couple of minutes. They maybe either try to do that or hold down the throttle here midway through as we approach that second half.
Miller tried to catch a cutting Caden Raisler, couldn't complete that pass. It's a turnover for the Huskies, and Dreesen has the ball. on the right wing. Works it inside. Tristan Hansen going hard to the rim, and he goes up and in over a couple of defenders for the Huskies.
Those two combined right now between Hansen and Dreesen, and we got a whistle and a technical, perhaps.
And a technical has been assessed to the bench of
Centennial.
The Centennial Cougars, and by the looks of head coach Spencer Waldvogel just trying to ID who might have said something. But Coach Waldvogel made his way down about 6 feet down the bench, had some words for his players, and in the meantime, it'll be Lucas Fenton shooting the technical free throws for the Huskies. First one is no good. Those are the freebies you got to take advantage of if you're going to make a comeback here and whittle that 13-point lead down into something that you can.
Absolutely. You got to chip away at it when you have the opportunity. 56 points scored already scored for Centennial thus far. And the dynamic duel of Dreesen and Hansen have combined for a total of 43 points just between the two of them. 26 right now for Dreesen. His season average is 23, and 17 for Hansen. He's averaging 16.
13-point lead for the Cougars. Just had a technical foul called on their bench, but the Huskies couldn't convert on those free throws. Fenton has it back in his hands. Now gives off for Blaine Raisler, who gives off for Caden. Caden will back it off as he's defended by Jackson Dreesen. Huskies working the perimeter pretty well here, and then a pull-up shot as the shot clock failed, or was dwindling. Doesn't find the iron. It's a shot clock violation against the Huskies and another turnover.
Yep, that shot clock had expired just at the ball after the jump shot had hit the floor, and a timeout taken by the Huskies as they trail 13 by 13 with 10:31 to play here in the second half.
As we take a peek here, I think we're going to be looking at the
Class 4A,
Class 4A
state
rankings.
Or is
There
it
they
the
are.
Pete Anderson rankings?
Cretin-Derham Hall with out to an outstanding start, an undefeated start, 14-0, pacing all other teams in 4A. Wayzata, Hopkins, Tartan also out to an undefeated start. Good job, good start for them. Apple Valley, Prior Lake, Egan, Moorhead. We had a conversation about them at halftime. You and I did about Moorhead making their way into the rankings here in 4A.
The
Sock
Spuds
Rapids
are
Rice.
typically built for hockey.
They are,
but
and their hockey team is really good.
Yes, even better. So maybe they're transforming. And then you got Sauk Rapids Rice, a team I've had a chance to see, and St. Cloud State. And then Anoka, number 10. Anoka comes in with a record of 12-3 coming into tonight. And they lost by 1 point to Champlain Park, and then their other loss as well has been to Totino Grace.
Hansen gets the ball on the low post, tries to work his way and put a shot up, gets his own rebound and makes that one, and he'll go to the line to make it a three-point play. You see right here, that first shot no good, and he goes up and gets his own rebound.
It's a 2-for-1. It's a happy hour play, and he converts, gets a rebound and two, and misses on the end one opportunity, but now with 19 for Hansen.
Fenton goes up and he returns the favor. He draws the harm and lays it in, and he'll go back to the line. Try and get an extra point right here as that lead sits at 13.
Dreesen now, they take this time to set him on the bench with 10 minutes and 15 seconds left. That's 26 points, or excuse me, 19 points on the bench right now. Did they say Dreesen? It is Dreesen.
It's Hansen, yep.
Hey-o.
Free throws good, and Fenton with 9 here on the evening. Johnson brings it up. He'll turn back and gives it off for Espinoza. Dreesen puts it on the floor, drops it for Hosfield, gets into the lane, now dishes it off. Ball movement on this near side for the Cougars as they're working their way around. Now it's brought back out. Hosfield trying to find his way back inside. Tapped away by Blaine Raisler. Good hands there for Blaine. Shot under 8 to go on the shot clock, and Dreesen doesn't care. He nails it anyways. 29 for Jackson. Fenton puts it on the floor, gets into the paint, and a good roll for the Huskies. Lucas Fenton now into double digits.
Much needed. They needed to reciprocate that long three.
Dreesen gonna try another one. He can't miss. He's absolutely feeling it right now, and he has a game-high 32, and his game high for the season is in jeopardy. Blaine Raisler gives off for Lucas Fenton. Fenton puts it on the floor with the left hand. Stops his dribble, works its way. Miles through the lane, goes up with the hook shot.
Love it.
And
I love
knocks
his
that
play.
one down. He
double digits, 11 now.
has 11 as well. Dreesen going right back to that spot. Mapson in his back pocket this time, nearly takes it away. Instead, Dreesen has it back on there, picks up his dribble. Gives off. Binder trying to work through traffic. Instead, he'll give it off for Hosfield. Hosfield working against Eddie Miles. Caden Raisler is the mismatch inside, defending on Binder. Instead, it's going to be Johnson putting it up. That one's no good. Fenton tracks down the rebound. 8.5 to go in this one, and the Huskies trail by 14. They're going to need something quick. Fenton runs out of room. He gives off for Blaine Raisler as the relief. Mapson works it around on the corner. Instead, gives it back for Caden Raisler. He's going to work his way through the lane, draws some contact, goes up and in. Tough two for Caden Raisler. He's got 16.
That was a strong drive. I like that conviction and close. That time by Raisler, you said he's got 15.
Jacob Hosfield. Ball in his hands. Gives it over to Dreesen. Dreesen gets by one defender, and he puts a shot up. It's no good. Ball comes free. Johnson finally able to track it down as two different Cougars knocked that one off the rim. Espinoza draws the foul against Blaine Raisler.
See,
that will be his third foul.
That reach or that hit on the hand that time by Raisler, and he said his third foul.
Both Raisler brothers have 3 fouls. That is Zach Espinoza. Free throw is good. And Espinoza has 2 points on the night.
Well, as it stands, Dreesen is fine staying in the game. You could see him talking with the coaching staff. He's got 32.
Second free throw for Espinoza is good. And a timeout's going to be called here for Centennial.
And maybe that will be his time on the bench for Dreesen, using that timeout to that advantage. 66-52 Andover as we take a look at the schedules coming up here for both of these squads. Girls high school hockey down to like their core 4, their final 4 games. And basketball for boys, still about 10 games left. And here's the schedule left for the Cougars.
Just beyond the halfway mark, the Cougars will move on beyond this one, and on the 28th next week, they'll play Anoka at home. And then 2 days later, they'll take the road, and they'll go to Armstrong, and then they'll head up to Duluth to take on another section opponent in Duluth East. Back on the 3rd, they have a rematch against Blaine. Blaine will look to try and get a win as they lost to Centennial the first time through, and then to Tino Grace on the 5th. Not a very fun stretch for Centennial coming up with some good basketball teams on their schedule. And the Huskies don't have any better on their side. After this one, they'll travel to Champlin Park next week, and then they'll get to play Coon Rapids at home, travel to Elk River, and then to wrap up that first week of February, they'll play Maple Grove at home, and then it's Anoka at home a week later on the 11th.
Yeah, Anoka have been playing well this season. I've been impressed with their defense. They've been holding opponents to 59 points a game this season. And meanwhile, they've been able to put up 70+ a game as well.
Raisler has the ball, inbounds it to Mapson. The Cougars going to go to that modified press. Mapson able to get it past the timeline, nearly ran into some trouble, and then Caden Raisler tried to dribble that.
I say it time and time again, half-court pressures or three-quarter pressure and full-court pressures, 70% of the turnovers happen once you cross the mid-court line, and that one was the case there. You get it across, and you get a pass, and just kind of pressure it and push.
Carlvin puts it on the floor, gets into the paint, thinking about it. Instead, he gives back to Hosfield, down to Dreesen's hand. Dreesen gets corralled by Mapson. Foul is called against Joseph. That'll be his third on the night. And you see right here, just grabbing her on the shoulder, and easy call. Nothing around the neck or anything like that that would have intent to injure or draw further discussion from the officials. Johnson will inbound for the Cougars. He quickly goes inside to Dreesen, who's going to turn and shoot. Didn't have to go high that one. Instead, we've got 3 players on the floor. The rebound goes to Carlvin.
Shortest guy on the court cashes in on the offensive rebound / loose ball and takes it to the bank on the backhand. 4 points on the night for Carlvin, but now that extends the lead to 68-52.
We'll see here. We're going to have a couple of substitutions. 3 players going up. Johnson for the Cougars, Miller and Fenton for the Huskies. And Miller very slow and gingerly walking to the bench. Fenton stays in the game, as does Johnson for the Cougars. So it's Mapson that comes in, right back in the game for the Huskies.
Kick on a pass by Centennial, but they'll inbound it from the side. But even just a little pressure when you bracket it and you have that trap, it just kind of takes a little extra energy and focus to get that ball across. Then you're also kind of rushing in your brain to get it across before the timeline infraction.
It's a little bit of a discussion going. I think they might be talking about
what they reset
the backcourt violation. If that resets on a kick, it does. Otherwise, the Huskies would have had 1 second to get that ball up the court. Raisler got past the defenders, instead nearly loses it, gives it to Fenton, who rattles one home from the corner. Big shot for the Huskies. They needed that one, as it had been all Cougars for the last couple minutes. Dreesen right back. He pulls up on the baseline. No good. Raisler goes up and gets the rebound. Tries to work through some defense, and finally he's able to draw the contact and the whistle. It'll go against Dreesen.
I thought Dreesen was going to be whistled for the foul that first time with a lot of contact on Raisler. He didn't, but he went back at it and engaged, and that time they did call the foul on Dreesen. His second foul back in now is Hansen. He's had a healthy little towel time on the bench.
41 combined points between Dreesen and Hansen. Fenton works through the lane, goes up, and off the back glass, no good, but the foul is drawn, and it'll be Fenton at the line for 2 for the Huskies. The foul goes against Max Johnson. That's his third.
Yeah, that's actually of the 68 points, 51 combined for those two. 32 for Dreesen and 19 here for Hansen.
Math is hard.
It's tough. It's on the run.
Fenton makes the first of those free throws.
In basketball, it's all about the pivot. Much needed. Just some scoring punch. 3 players for Andover in double figures, but certainly missing the presence of AK Alex Kopetsky here tonight.
Dreesen brings it up, trying to work around the screen of Binder. Binder setting his feet a couple of different times, but Raisler working through the screen each time. Binder now has it in his hands. He looks, trying to draw some passing options. Gives off for Hansen. Hansen has that one come right back to him. It was an ill-advised pass, and he got it. Convenient bounce for the Cougars. And a bailout call on that contact for Caden Raisler, and that'll be his 4th foul, and it'll be 3 shots for Jackson Dreesen.
Tough one not to call here, even though you know what the strategy was. You'll have to see if he got the ball or what have you, but with the arm coming down and the angle that the official had, he probably went with what you see 90% of the time, a foul, but even though it looked like a lot of ball on that defensive play by Raisler.
Dreesen's first of 3 is good. Stretches the lead back to 12 at 69-57. You mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Joe, the Huskies allowing north of 75 per game. They're well on that pace here tonight.
76 a game. Now looking at a 14-point lead if Dreesen can convert on this second free throw, this third free throw. And he does.
He does. 14 is the lead. That's one shy of their game high, which came at 15 just a handful of minutes ago. Raisler brings it up for the Huskies. Stringy will work it around the perimeter to Fenton. Fenton picks up his dribble, and now he gives off for Mapson. Mapson works to Raisler. Huskies not able to get any penetration clean inside. Fenton with the stop, goes off the glass, no good, gets his own rebound, and then he tried to pass it out. It's a turnover. Carlvin has it on his hand, works through traffic, finds Hosfield, who will slow things down and let that clock tick, tick, tick all the way down as the Cougars have that 14-point lead in their pocket.
No urgency.
Dreesen, crossover pull-up, that one's no good. Mapson couldn't corral that rebound. It goes to Hosfield instead. This time Dreesen gets to the elbow, too strong, and right into the arms of Levi Stringy on the rebound. Mapson works through the contact, no call, no basket, and then an undisciplined foul with a reach against Mapson, and he's now got 4 fouls. 4:50 to play. Stringy's out, Miller back in after taking that hard fall. Good to see that. And that foul being the 7th means that Binder's going to go to the line with a 1-and-1.
That it is. They're starting to tally up here for Andover with the fouls and the team fouls collected here. But maybe to the advantage here for Andover.
Free throw is no good on the front side of that 1-and-1. Quickly the other way, the Huskies will bring it up. Raisler, hesitation move, gets into the lane, loses it, but it goes right to Eddie Miles, and another rejection from Tristan Hansen. Huskies got a favorable bounce that seems Hansen has gotten every time the ball is not gone where he wanted it to. It's come right back to him. The Huskies got that bounce this time, but it was Tristan Hansen there playing defense all the way through. Inbounds play goes to Fenton. He works it to Mapson. Mapson uses a screen and then dishes off for Raisler. He's got a floater through the lane, not strong enough. Front iron. Rebound goes to Hosfield. And Dreesen will trot his way into the front court. Gives off for Hansen trying to work baseline. He backs it out, but is able to go up and over the defense and drop another one in. He's now above 20 for the game. Miles will put it on the floor. Off the iron, no good. Fenton with the rebound. He goes up. He'll draw contact and at least get to go to the line here as the lead has ballooned up to 16. Under 4 to go. Huskies timeout before the free throws.
Chance here for Andover to make a run. We saw that in the first half as we get a look at the broadcast coming away here for QCTV, and let's see what's on the dial.
Well, we get to hang out
I'm going to
tomorrow.
go old school. We get to do it. It's back-to-back. It's awesome, and then we go to the rink tomorrow.
We'll go to the rink tomorrow over at Champlin Park, Osseo Park Center, and then girls basketball, Champlin Park versus Andover. That'll be here. And on the 30th, it's Champlin Park versus Anoka, boys basketball. And then 1/31, January, the last day of January, it'll be right here, St. Thomas Academy in a wrestling duel against Andover. And if you listen real closely on that one, Joe, you'll hear my voice on the PA across the way.
Nice.
Here at Andover High School.
Very nice. And how's the wrestling squad doing this year?
You know, they're dealing with a lot of the same things that the basketball is dealing with. A lot of illness, guys that have had to, been forced to miss some key matches in some key spots that have led to less than desirable results. But they're getting healthy at the right time as they're getting prepared for their postseason run. Are the Andover Huskies wrestling team and all the wrestling teams here in the QCTV country.
Youth night tonight here for youth basketball. You see a lot of kids hopping, bouncing. They got some juice left in them. Let's see if the Huskies can match it on the court here, as they're going to need some extra juice, down by 16 as they have a chance to cut into the deficit. We're just south of 4 minutes to play at 3:59.
Fenton will be at the line for 2. Luke, the senior, makes the first. And he's up to 17 to lead all Huskies scorers right as of right now.
He just had 3 points at half. Been able to turn it around, and
he makes both. He's made all of his free throws since he missed those technical free throws. Missed both of those. He's got 18, does Fenton, here on the evening. Dreesen gives off to Hansen, and it'll be Miller getting right up in his space. And I think we've got an offensive foul going against,
I think, Hosfield.
The Cougars. It is. It's going to go against Hosfield.
And you got to, as you said earlier, Pete, you got to make sure you hit those free throws if you're going to make a run.
Inbound comes to Fenton. He gets it across the timeline, gets it right outside the perimeter, stops, throws up a floater from about 6 feet, and it goes in. Fenton has 20. Huskies now within 12. If they've got to come back in him, it's got to start now. Miles walking Hosfield all the way down. Miller trying to draw that one. And it's going to be a jump ball. It'll be the possession arrow favors the Cougars, but that's another piece that you have to take care of if you're going to start a comeback for the Huskies here. And it was Miles just running those feet, keeping alongside, staying parallel. And that tie-up was just long enough to draw that whistle. Hosfield hands off for Dreesen. Dreesen works with the right, gives for Johnson. Driving through the lane, Marshawn Carlvin lays it up and in, gets the whistle.
He had some hops. He elevated on the close.
He's only got 6 tonight, but he's been so smooth with the ball when he's got it. He doesn't take many shots, but that one, great body control, high off the glass. You know, we said we're not going to see Alex Kopetsky in this tonight's game. That is an Alex Kopetsky layup if you've ever seen one. And Carlvin will look to go add to his game total of 6. Just 6 points here for Carlvin, but he's been a key ball handler and played some really good defense for the Cougars tonight.
Very much has done that, and he'll try to add to his total here.
Free throw is pure, and he's got 7. The lead back to 15. Raisler gives off for Mapson, who has to climb the ladder just to save that pass from going out of bounds. Mapson gets into the lane and draws some contact. I think that's going to be Max Johnson drawing that foul. That'll be.
Mapson looked like he was on a quarterback draw there for a minute, kind of pushing, elbowing his way, inducing some of that contact. I loved his persistence, very strong drive to the lane, and he gets 2.
The foul was actually called on Tristan Hansen, so that'll put Mapson, the junior, on the line. He makes the first of 2.
And that seems like, hey, if you're going to have a strategy against Hansen and Dreesen, is forcing him to play D and be physical at that point. But the 2 of them, Dreesen and Hansen, have combined now for 57 or 56 points.
Joseph has 6 the other way. Dreesen up and under the defensive Blaine Raisler, lays it in. He's not done as he's got 37. On the night.
Yeah, for season
Mapson,
high.
he'll launch a 3. That one's no good. Rebound comes down to Caden Raisler. They trap him on the near side wing. Raisler throws it off the leg of Dreesen so he can get a reset. 14 on the shot clock, 2:34 on the game clock. Quickly inbounds to Fenton. Fenton trying to get around Carlvin. He does. He goes up off the glass and in with the layup. Knifing through traffic.
Double deuce tonight here for Fenton. That's a season high. Prior to that, 18 was his high against Stillwater.
Huskies going to have to play some tough defense or foul if they got a shot. Carlvin thought about it. Instead, he's just going to let that clock tick down. And that'll be it, I believe, for Caden Raisler, his 5th. I think the head, that classic drawing the call with the head snapping back as you feel a little bit of contact. Dreesen, a veteran move right there. Raisler's 5th foul, so Coach Habel will use a little bit of his 20 seconds to find his sub. He now has him in the game. That's Levi Stringy. And Dreesen can get his 1-and-1 at the line prepared.
I believe Raisler, correct me if I'm wrong, had 16 in the game.
Yes, that's correct. He did finish with 16.
Started with 13 in that first half. He was shot out of a rocket.
The first one finds its way in, rolls off the front iron, the back iron, and the glass before going in. Dreesen on his second. No good. Batted away, but Miller's able to track it down. Mapson now with a little bit of pace. Works past the timeline. Fenton is going to launch from the left wing. It's good!
25.
Pass all the way up. Saved, but it goes right to Mapson. Huskies get a turnover. Mapson finds Fenton. Same spot. He launches over the head. He's good! It's an 8-point game. Carlvin quickly into the front court. Now slows things down, gets it into Dreesen's hand. Dreesen with a head of steam. He stops, pops, and off the back glass slows down that run for the Huskies as they had two quick three-pointers off the hands of Luke Fenton. He's going to go for three in a row. No good. And the rebound goes to Tristan Hansen. Stolen by Luke Fenton. He goes hard into the paint. Can't get it to fall. Binder's going to draw the foul. It'll be his third, but it'll be 2 free throws for Fenton. 10 points is the deficit.
Did a little heat temperature check. That last three he just missed. Did Fenton at converting 3 consecutive trifectas. But this one he took it inside. Good play that time to draw the foul.
And a timeout with one more free throw forthcoming for Fenton. The timeout coming from the Centennial bench.
26 second half points for Luke Fenton.
He'll have an opportunity to make that 27 after the timeout. And if he makes that second free throw, that'll give him 30 on the night, only trailing the 40 that Jackson Dreesen has put up on the other end for the Cougars.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive struggles for both of these squads, because coming in, it was the Cougars who had been giving up about 63, 64 points a game. For Andover, they are surrendering 76 points a game. Both have eclipsed that number defensively, and they've been able to light it up. But now it comes down to some free throws. You make this one, you get a chance to maybe set up a trap, and maybe some full court pressure as well for Andover.
So it's a 9-point lead right now, a 3-possession game, 1:16 on the clock. Fenton has one more free throw. Possession arrow favors the Huskies. They have 2 timeouts. He misses the front end. Rebound comes free. Hansen fighting for it. Instead, it'll be a jump ball. Huskies will have the ball again. So it'll be 20 on the shot clock. Huskies throwing it in. A 3-pointer here would make it a 6-point game. Inbound. Fenton tracks it down just before the timeline. He gets into the paint, gets a floater off the back glass, and it goes in. 7 points. Huskies trying to stop him in the backcourt. Carlvin works around Miller, gets it into traffic, gets it for Dreesen. Dreesen works to the basket. No good! Hansen gets the rebound, still pulled away, still fighting for it. Is Mapson, but it'll be another jump ball. It'll go possession arrow in favor of the Cougars. 51-5 on the clock. Cougars have 20 seconds on the shot clock.
I love that modified layup off the glass by Fenton to give him 31 for the game. He is definitely ITZ in the zone.
Dreesen takes the ball off the inbounds, works his way into the lane, and somehow spins and lays that with a backhanded layup off the left side. Huskies need to work quickly. Mapson, bounce pass, dangerous pass, but Miller will end up drawing the foul as Hosfield got a little bit too aggressive. And it'll be 2 free throws coming up for Colton Miller. Miller, we mentioned, coming off a big game against Blaine, just 2 points here tonight. So he's going to look to help his team out and get some points with the clock stopped. And that doesn't help off the front iron. A little bit short. Binder back in for rebounding.
Miller took a pop also earlier and was out, trying to regroup. And now he gets a chance for his second from the charity stripe.
Miller's shot is good. Quickly into Dreesen, and
Fenton
quick
picks
foul,
up the shove.
quick whistle, just a couple of seconds tick off. And it'll send Dreesen, who's been making free throws at a high clip, but he did miss his last attempt, his previous attempt.
42 on the night.
And he misses the front. One more to go. Carlvin comes back in. Hosfield comes off. It's an 8-point lead. Dreesen with one more free throw. 34.1 to go. Dreesen's free throw rattles around, and it's good. Blaine Raisler inbounds to Fenton on the right wing. Works past a screen. Now he's going to go right to the cup. No good, but the putback is up and rattles in. Colton Miller got one, and it's a quick timeout for Habel. And the Huskies, 24.3. They're going to have to play the foul game, but they have hope, trailing by 7.
Good job by Colton Miller at 6'7", crashes the board, picks up the loose change, and converts it for 2. And the Huskies, as you mentioned, Pete, now within 7, 84-17. And the dynamic duo of Dreesen and Hansen have now combined for a total of 74 points of the 84 scored.
The Huskies will try.
I stand corrected. 64 of the 84.
We've struggled with that math all
It's
night.
just tough looking through the cage and all that. But yes, they've hit it, that dynamic duo. But this dynamic duo, Pete and I, will be coming back with you tomorrow afternoon. A quick turnaround at 3 o'clock as they drop the puck. The Rebels and the Orioles.
Huskies are going to defend and press on this inbound play. Hosfield will throw it in. Carl's ball comes into Dreesen, and a quick foul. Fenton is going to be the one that's whistled, I believe. It is Fenton on that. That foul is his third, 22.9. Just 2 ticks, less than 2 ticks come off. No good on the first one.
Let's see. Hey,
He's
you
missed
got
3 of his last
Is there any choice
4.
but get the ball into Fenton's hand? Just get it to him up court. Try to hit a 3. He's feeling it.
The second one is good. Mapson. Met by Carlvin. Now Fenton pulls up, blocked. Hosfield got his arms extended, and the foul is going to go against Hansen. He'll go to the line. I believe Raisler will draw that call. That'll be 4 fouls on Blaine. Excuse me, they're going to call that on Fenton. It'll be his 4th. That's one of those situations where, as Blaine Raisler, you got to throw your hand up and make sure that if anything's going to happen, you got to count on the guy that's been hot.
Absolutely here. So
Hansen with 21, his first free throw, no good.
you mentioned for the Huskies, it doesn't get any easier after tonight. They travel to Champlain Park. Night game on Tuesday. And for Centennial, they get Anoka.
The second for Hansen is good, and the lead back up to 9. And then Mapson dribbles it off his foot. Carlvin with the defense, and it'll be the Cougars throwing the ball in with 10.3. And you have to imagine, as long as they get this one in the front court, it's going to be just about it. Ball comes in. Hansen controls now to Carlvin. And Carlvin will let that one go. Dreesen from the baseline.
And Cougars go to 8-8.
8-8 for the Cougars. The Huskies in the meantime fall to 6-10. losing this one by a score of 86-77. Joe, it was the shots started falling for the Huskies, but then it was the cold shooting in the second half. They never recovered.
Yeah, they got it close as 3 before the 50 seconds left in that first half. That's as close as they would get the remainder of the night. And they were chasing usually about a 10-point deficit. Certainly missed the presence of Alex Kopetsky here tonight in his average of 17 points a game. But some others tried to pick it up, but the pace and the scoring punch of that 1-2 team of Dreesen and Hansen was too much for the Huskies.
Coming up next for the Cougars, it's Anoka. Coming up next for the Huskies, they'll travel to Champlin Park. Coming up next for us and QCTV Sports, we'll see you tomorrow. We've got some hockey, boys hockey, Champlin Park at Osseo Park Center. That one is at Champlin Park Ice Forum. This one here finishes in a 9-point victory for the Centennial Cougars. 86-77 for Joe Rulin, my partner, for our crew here at Andover High School in the truck, and everyone back at the station. Thanks for joining us on QCTV Sports. Huskies fall to the Cougars 86-77.